Now, going into match day 34, the last day of the Bundesliga season, could Dortmund do it? Could they? Could they pull off the impossible to have gone from being in mid-table obscurity back in January to ending up within that close to the Bundesliga? Could they make it happen? Well, they were at home at the Westfalen, so they've got the yellow and black wall in the ultras roaring them on. This was your starting lineup. Yeah, this is Dortmund at home under Niko Kovac and his brother Robert, don't ignore his brother, playing in a 3-4-2-1 formation. We've got Gregory Kerbel, captain, in goal. He's wanted by Premier League teams, Chelsea, Newcastle. That back three, you love to see it. Rami Bensebaini, the Algerian. You've got Valdemir Anton in the middle and Nicolas Soule, the double fridge, on the right-hand side of that back three. On the left side of midfield, the wing-back, Daniel Svensson. We did a video on him. Yep, I will link that in the description down below. Yep, go and check out our video about Daniel Svensson signing on, like Serge Gnabry, signing on a permanent basis until 2029. Yep, go and check that video out. Anyway, Daniel Svensson on the left, Julian Ryerson, the Norwegian, on the right-hand side. The two in the midfield holding it together is Felix Nemecha alongside Marcel Sabitzer. He's making a rare start. That's right. He's been out injured for 4 or 5 games. He got injured away in a loss, 2-0 away loss to Leipzig quite a while back. Anyway, he's back in the starting lineup, the 31-year-old Austrian. And then you've got an attacking midfield two of Karim Adeyemi, Disco Funkmeister here, alongside Julian Brandt. He blows hot, he blows cold, he's Marmite, he's divisive. You love him or you hate him. We love him, don't we, Gonzo? We fucking love that guy. It's a shame he couldn't have come to Arsenal a couple of years ago. Anyway, and they're trying to feed the goat. It's not a slur, that's an expression about Sean Goater, former Manchester City legend striker. You got to feed that goat and he will score. That is Seru Guirassy. He was close to, well, he's already the... Even though Dortmund got knocked out of the Champions League, and we said this before, which was a real shame, they got knocked out, but they went out with a win at least against Barcelona in the quarterfinals. And actually, because of all those truckloads of goals that he'd scored in that tournament, he is currently the joint top scorer in the Champions League, along with Rafinha, once of dirty Leeds of the Midlands. So yeah, and Guirassy coming into this game was on 20 goals in the Bundesliga. If it had gone berserk in this game against Holstein Kiel, he would have caught up with Harry Kane. That would have been interesting to see who would have taken home that little Arsenal-esque gun to commemorate the goal-scoring Meister for the season. Anyway, that's your yellow and black. That's your BVB team. And the visitors, well, sadly, they had already been relegated coming into this one. This is Holstein Kiel in a very similar, mirrored 3-4-2-1 with Thomas Darne in goal. You got a back three of Zek, Karl Johansson and Becker. Midfield four, John Tolkien, the American, on the left. Rosenboom on the right. You got the midfield two dynamos of Nicholas Renberg and Lewis Holtby in his last ever game for Holstein Kiel. And then Shuto Machino, who's usually a striker, who's been brought back into an attacking midfielder, as has the Japanese player. 11 goals so far this season, alongside the Swede Alexander Bernhardsson. What an impact he's made for Kiel this season, as they've fought really hard, really valiantly to stay up. And then Steven Skripski, this time Skripski playing as a forward. Now again, going into this game, it was a Wild West style shootout. So Frankfurt were away at Freiburg. Again, those two were battling to finish third and fourth. But then Dortmund were in the mix as well, coming out of nowhere. You know, they'd already gone into this game, they'd won, 6 out of their last 7. There was a draw in there, which was a draw in the Die Klassiker away at Munich. They were just, all they could do, Dortmund, if Dortmund won and or the other results went their way, so they were looking for the Adler, they were looking for SGE, Frankfurt, to beat Freiburg, Dortmund get the job done, and they would end up in the Champions League. That was the maths. Pretty simple. Dortmund get a win and look to Freiburg to lose at home to Frankfurt, to the Adler. How did it finish then? Well, yeah, there you go. It's 3-0 to Dortmund. They got the job done early on. It was a Seru Guirassy. It was a penalty, actually. There was a great ball. I think it was Brandt. Yeah, I think Brandt picked out a run of Guirassy and then flicked the ball into the box to the onrushing Felix Nmecha. He was cynically taken down by Lewis Holtby. It was a penalty. Upstepped Seru Guirassy, swept it into the left. Yeah, keeper did go the right way. Dane did go the right way, but it wasn't. He didn't get anything on the ball. That was 1-0. That was good, right? So again, the maths is simple. You've got to win your game and hope that the Adler do you a favour in the Demaras Stadion. Demaras Stadion, something like that. Anyway, where Freiburg play in the Europa Stad Park for Europa Stad Park for commercial reasons. Anyway, one became 11 against 10 men was how the game played out for the best part of 80 minutes. Karl Johansson cynically hacked down Kari Adeyemi, who pushed the ball in front of him. He was running on, and Karl Johansson slides in, and you can see if you watch it back on Ask Jeeves on a video platform where you recreate it down the park with your friends, you'll see that Johansson slides in. He ends up on his backside. He just sits there, like he lifts his knees up to his hands. He sits there, and he can feel the referee. You know, like sometimes you're in an environment, you can feel a spirit, you can feel a guardian, you can feel a ghost behind you. He felt the referee was out there pulling the card out there. I think he did a little inhale, a little snort, and then just walked off because he realised what his punishment was. Yeah, I mean, take it like a man. To his credit, well done, Karl Johansson. He took that red card like an absolute legend. And then the second half started pretty quickly with a goal. It was actually Japanese Shoto Mishino who, the ball was cleared. He tried to flick it back to a midfielder. There was no one there. It was intercepted in a very intelligent way by Julian Brandt, who laid it off to Sabitzer, who, falling back, again, he ends up on his backside, falls back with a drilled shot, which does Meg, one of the defenders. That might well have been Becker. Anyway, Meg's the defender, went for his legs, ends up in the bottom corner. Despairing dive from Thomas Dane, not enough, 2-0. And at 2-0, then all eyes and all ears will be on phones and on radio receivers, just to try and plug into the matrix to see what the result was at the Europa Stad Park, see how Freiburg were getting on against Frankfurt. Anyway, 2 became 3 late on. Felix Nmecha with a goal. Brilliant. Rami Bensebaini involved in the build-up play at the back. Well, we're now into the final third of the HOLSTEIN KIEL part of the pitch. He puts the ball out wide to Svensson. Quick look up, intelligent ball with a bit of pace. Into Nmecha, who's inside the 18-yard box. Brilliant deft touch with his right foot to control it. Pivots, takes another touch on his right foot to set up the shot, to push the ball away from the incoming defender, and then just kills the shot in to the bottom corner, like I say, inside the 18-yard box. 3-0, job done. 3-0, and then it's all eyes and ears again on what's happening elsewhere, which, as it transpired, and I'll add a bit of drama to it because it makes it exciting. That was the scoreline. That was the scoreline between Freiburg and Frankfurt. And that result at the Europa Park Stadion meant that Dortmund were going to end up in the Champions League. And who would have seen that coming? Like I say, from several months beforehand, where they were in an absolute mess. And then in came Niko Kovac and turned it all around with his brother Robert. Well done. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the stats on this game. Well, again, there's confirmation that Karl Johansson, the Swede, was sent off on 9 minutes for a straight red card for taking out Kadim Adeyemi. I don't think it was malicious. He was just too quick for him. Yeah, that was his first red card of the season. And he made, 10 appearances this season? Anyway, enjoy the Zweite Bundesliga because they're going down, sadly. Confirmation here that Seru Guirassy finished on 21 goals. We can clap that in. 21 goals. There you go. And just to look at his individual statistics, there is the Guinean Yeah, look, in the Bundesliga alone, 21 goals, 2 assists, so 23 goal involvements. And if we look at the Borussia Dortmund Black and Yellow Twitter page, this brilliant graphic, this visualisation of our top goal scorers throughout the years. There's some familiar faces on here, look. There's Patrick Aubameyang. There you are, mate. You're on there. Uber's on there. Aren't you, mate? There's Uber. There's Uber in his Arsenal days. He's got that brilliant tattoo. Look at that. There's Uber. Anyway, he scored truckloads of goals back in 21, which is that triggered his move anyway to Arsenal, to AFC, to the Gunners, to the Gooners. Come on, you Gooners. 21 goals that year, 17-18. There's Marco Reus, currently playing for LA Galaxy. Check out his free kick, by the way, in one of their last games of the season in the MLS. There's Reus, there's Sancho, there's Haaland. You know, back to back. Look at that. What's that? 70 goals in 2 seasons. No wonder he got that big money transfer. There's Bellingham Senior. There's Jude. There's Hey Jude. There's Nicholas Fulkrug. Where is he now? Out in the wilderness, isn't he? Now, I know he plays for West Ham, but he's not really getting many games, is he? All those goals, by the way, that initiated a transfer to West Ham, to the Hammers. You slag. That was my Danny Dyer impression, EastEnders legend. And then, 34 goals in all competitions for the African sensation that's Seru Girassi. Let's smash that bell today. Let's clap that one in. There you see. 34 goals, 6 assists. So what's that? 40 goal involvements in all competitions. But just in the Bundesliga alone, look, Harry Kane did actually finish as the top goal scorer, the goal scorer meister, with 26 and 8 assists. Seru Girassi tied with Patrick Schick. Transfer rumours about Schick. We'll cover that soon. Is he coming to the Premier League? Are we going to see Patrick Schick at a team like Chelsea or Newcastle or Manchester United? Well, stay tuned on that one. There'll be a video coming soon about Patrick Schick. But yeah, second, I guess, on the basis that he's come up with more goal assists. And then just to put that in context for Europe, by the way. Kylian Mbappe, he's leading the way. This is all like major leagues in Europe, right? At least top 5. Kylian Mbappe, 29 goals for Real Madrid, even though they've come second in La Liga, knocked out of the quarter-final stage by Arsenal in the Champions League. 29 goals, 3 assists. Salah, 28 goals. They've still got one more game in the Premier League to go, right? He could well end up being the top goal scorer in Europe. And does that mean he's going to win that Ballon d'Or? Are we going to see Mohamed Salah, Egyptian sensation, bag that Ballon d'Or? Let me know your thoughts down below, because you know the drill, people. Get your comments in the section down below. Salah for Ballon d'Or? Question mark. Anyway, and there's Harry Kane. He's third with 26. And if we come down, we can see just before the fold, 21st place, Seru Girassi, 21 goals and 2 assists. That's brilliant. What a season he's had. Now, the other goal scorer in that game for Dortmund, well, there was 3, right, was Sabitzer, the Austrian. That was his first goal of the campaign. As captured here again by Black and Yellow, by the Dortmund social media crew. His first goal this season couldn't have come at a better time, because that puts them 2-0 up, and that, well, as the passage of time, as fate would have it, that was the goal that ultimately sealed them, because they did get a huge favour from SGE, from De Adler, from Frankfurt. And then Felix Nmecha, brother of Lucas, who's now going to be... Well, where's he going to go? Because his brother Lucas, he's big and hench. He's up front for Wolfsburg, but not any longer, because his contract's about to expire. So where's his brother going to end up? Anyway, there's Felix Nmecha. He scored 4 times from midfield this season. 1 assist, so 5 goal involvements for him. And then Julian Brandt. You love to see it. You love to see it, don't you, Gonzo? Where's Gonzo? We love to see it, don't we, Gonzo? We love to see it. He does take a lot of shit. Anyway, this season, look. Bundesliga, 5 personal goals, 10 assists, 15 goal involvements for this season. And actually, we look at stat news. So this is Bundesliga alone. Michael Olise has the most assists by a midfielder in the Bundesliga this season with 15. Michael Olise, most assists by a midfielder, 15 assists. Look, Florian Wirtz, 12. Vincenzo Grifo of Freiburg, who have at least ended up in the Europa League, which is brilliant for Freiburg. They were so close, weren't they? So close to the Champions League. But actually, those two places have gone to Die Adler and to Dortmund, subject of this video. And Julian Brandt there, look, 4th on the list. Assists from midfielders with 10. And if you look at top 5, right, he's still in there, look. Michael Lee says the most assists by a fielder in Europe's top 5 leagues with 15. Jacob Murphy, Newcastle, 12. That's fascinating. Florian Wirtz, Grifo, Perrin from Auxerre in Ligue 1. Ryan Cherky, where's he going to go? That's fascinating, right? Apparently Ryan Cherky's told Olympique Lyon, I'm out of here. It's my time. I want to go, please. Now, there was a lot of noise on that there X, Twitter, call it what you like. Anyway, between that and YouTube, different other content creators' channels talking about Ryan Cherky coming to FC Bayern. But where would he play? He's a right-sided winger. He's not going to get a game for Bayern, is he? Because they've got Michael Elise, 15 assists, 10, is it 14 goals or something like that? We'll check that in a minute. Anyway, he's not going to get... Where's he going to play? He could play on the left. I don't think so, because he's not, he's right-footed. I could see, and again, we've done a video on this, we could see someone like a Louis Enrique from Olympique, not Lyon, but Marseille. He's more natural on the left. He'd be more cost effective with a transfer fee of what, 25, maybe 30 million euro, and a lower salary than they're currently paying than FC Bayern are currently paying to the likes of a Leroy Sané, Serge Gnabry and a Kingsley Coman. They're all getting on a bit, by the way. Some of you can argue in their peak, peak. They're 27, 28, 29 respectively. You bring in Louis Enrique, who's 23. Yeah, anyway. So, Ryan Cherky, we'll do a video on that. We'll have a look, see what the reaction's going to be to Ryan Cherky, currently of Olympique Lyon. Is he coming into FC Bayern? Anyway, my point here was Julian Brandt, 7th on that list of Europe's top 5 leagues as goals assisted from midfield. Brilliant. And Daniel Svensson, no goal but an assist in the same week that he signed on full-time with that club until 2029. He came up with yet another assist. Great finish again by Felix Nemetja, which was brilliant. And then we can look here, right? This is fabulous. This is One Football. One day will be your partner. In March, Dortmund were 11th place in the Bundesliga. Just drink that in for a second, or take a pause the video, look at that. In March of this calendar year, Dortmund, BVB, were in 11th place in the Bundesliga. Fast forward 2 months later to May, and they finished 4th and qualify for the Champions League. Won 7 out of their last 8 games. 7, and actually one of those, the other one, was a draw in Die Klassiker. So actually, unbeaten in their last 8 games of this Bundesliga campaign. There you can see, there he is, Adiemo, Disco Funkmeister, brilliant hair. Look at that. So again, in March, they were below Stuttgart on 35 points. We finished this season on May 17th, and there they are, 57 points. Finished 2 points ahead of Freiburg. That is fantastic. Here we go. Again, this is Borussia Dortmund the proper account, not the English version, the actual Deutsch account. I better translate that. It's a shame it's over now. There he is. There's Niko Kovac. There's that run. Look, you can see what impact he had. Look, he's come in those there's 7 wins in 8 games. There they are, broken down. Look at that. Brilliant. 3-1 against Mainz, 4-1 against Freiburg. The Klassiker, there's your 2-2. 3-2 at home to Gladbach. 3-2 away to Hoffenheim. What a drama. What late drama there was in that game. Whooped the ass of Wolfsburg. That was the game that cost Ralph Hasenhüttl his job. The burly Austrian, the Austrian Klopp, the Alpine Klopp. He bought the dust in that game. Then they go away to Leverkusen, spoil Xabi Alonso's party and Jonathan Tah. Those two by Leverkusen figures both bowing out at home because Leverkusen are in the search for a new manager. We've done a video on that as well. Erik ten Hag, formerly of Manchester United, serial winner at Ajax, by the way. Won 3 trophies, which should have been 4, were it not for COVID rules. 3 titles in the Eredivisie, plus a couple of cups and a Super Cup. Came as far as the semi-final, getting beat by Tottenham, getting beat by the Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. in the 2019 Champions League. Yeah, that's the record that... And again at Manchester United, Erik ten Hag finished third. Champions League in his first season. Finished third. All right, they did get knocked out. They went on a Europa League run. But did win the Carabao Cup. And the next season, they won the FA Cup. They beat the blue half of Manchester. Yeah, they won the FA Cup at Wembley 2-1 against Manchester City. Then he gets fired. Anyway, Erik ten Hag in the running alongside ex-Arsenal midfielder Judas, who went to Barcelona and a few other clubs like Chelsea. Yeah, Cesc Fabregas in the running. So those two managers in the running for the job. Not the job at Wolfsburg, the job at Leverkusen. Anyway, and to finish it off, yeah, a 3-0 win at home in the Westfalen to Kiel. What a run that was. And again, there's the impact on the table. You can see properly. So, yeah, Bayern Munich finished on 82 points, which is the same points that they pulled off. I believe it was in the 1890 season, 2018/19 season. I believe they had 82 points that year. Look at that. They ended up being 1 goal short of a gallon, 1 short of 100. Leverkusen second on 69. Still a brilliant win, a brilliant run for them. Xabi Alonso's out of the frame now. Frankfurt come third. Dortmund here. This is what we're focusing on. 71 goals scored, 51 goals conceded, which is a bit ouch. Now, that proves to me that they've got some problems at the back, which does make this transfer rumour significant, that Robin Koch, formerly of Leeds of the Midlands, as you can see by his transfer market history. Robin Koch has come out. He came out before that last game of the season against Freiburg saying, basically, and I'll paraphrase on his behalf, Robin Koch said, if we don't make the Champions League, I'm out of here, right? So that was like his agent, his personal PR team putting that message out there, basically in the shop window going, if my client doesn't make it to the Champions League, he's out of here. Xabi Simons did the same, right? Xabi Simons, going into that final day of the season in the Bundesliga, it was mathematically impossible for Leipzig to finish in the Champions League. And Simons has come out and gone, right, that's it. Toys out the pram. I want to move. We did a video on that as well. Is he going to end up at FC Bayern? Because if FC Bayern can't get Florian Wirtz, why not go for the more cost-effective version of Xabi Simons? Anyway, Koch could be out of the picture. They are. Just wanted to flag that up, that he once played for Leeds. He has played, all told, it's 80 odd. It's in the 80s, Mark. Is it 83, 84, something like that? 80 games for Frankfurt. Come on, don't let me down. There we go. 85 games he played for Frankfurt, 87 for Freiburg, 77 games for Leeds. He's 28 years old. Where's he going to end up? His current market value is 18 million. Yeah, he's 28 years of age. He's over 6 foot. Is he coming in to Dortmund? We'll have to wait and see. And then just to wrap up, we'll have a look at, again, Holstein Kiel. They're already relegated. That was confirmed on match day 33. 80 goals, 8-0 conceded. It's not the record. That record is held by Tasmania Berlin. That was 100, I believe. Might have even been 103, 105. Anyway, yeah, so it's not a record. They are going down with a minus 31 goal difference. 25 points. They finished on the same points as Bochum. Sorry, Rise from Rise 30 Paradise. Holstein Kiel will be playing in the Zweite Bundesliga next season. And then just some other news for Kiel. I'm not sure how much truth there is in this rumour. This is just somebody on that their ex who's commenting that Arsenal are currently monitoring Japanese forward Shuto Machino of recently relegated Bundesliga side Holstein Kiel. I can't see it, if I'm honest. I do follow some really intelligent content creators that are Japanese, that follow Japanese players in the leagues, football leagues around the world. That's not come from him, so I don't know. I guess we'll watch this space. If Arsenal were going to go for anyone from the Bundesliga, it would more likely be Hugo Ekitike from Die Adler, from SGE, from Frankfurt. Although I read somewhere that the chairman of the club has put an 90 million euro price tag on the head of Ekitike, former PSG wonder kid. 15 goals this season. Actually, we can double check that one. Let me just confirm that one. Here, look. Hugo Ekitike finished with 15 goals, 23 goal involvements this season in the Bundesliga. They are, look. That was in 34 games. There's only 2 games that he didn't start. Yeah, I can't really see that one. Although we'll have to watch this space. We'll have to watch this space. And then Lewis Holtby, and I had to translate this, which is basically saying, thank you for helping us get promoted from the Zweite Bundesliga into the Bundesliga. We've had 4 incredible years with you. Thank you so much. He's off. I don't know where. I don't think he's confirmed where, but he's off. Anyway, what an incredible run for Niko Kovac and brother Robert. 7 wins out their last 8. Unbeaten in 8 games. Finished up in Champions League place in 4th. And then Seru Guirassy, absolute goal machine. 34 goals in all competitions. Brilliant. What a season. Anyway, what do you make of that then, people? Any BVB, any Dortmund fans? What about Tilo? If you're out there from the Fussball Bros, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on that season. What are your emotions at full time at the Westfalen when you were watching from the US, wherever you live? What were your reactions? This is for anybody, any Dortmund fans. What were you feeling when you found out that Frankfurt had beaten Freiburg and that meant you were going to go in the Champions League? What did that feel like? Anyway, let us know. Like you say, you know the drill. Let us know in the comment section down below. And sorry to all you HOLSTEIN KIEL fans. You put up a great fight. Hopefully we'll see you back again in the Champions League. Yeah, they are. What a season for the Yellow and Blacks. I like that. Gonzo likes that. If you could, like us, get those fingers out, shooting stars style. And if you see those fingers, smash that like. Think about subscribing, but don't think too long about it. Just do it, impulse. And then spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your classmates, tell your workmates. If you're out and about and in with a shout, let people know. Bring them in. It's a safe space. We'll take care of you all. Everyone's welcome here. Real men cry too. And I bet there was a few Dortmund fans crying and tears of joy at full time at the Westfalen. Congratulations to BVB again in the Champions League for another season. Brilliant. We'll see you again soon. Ciao, ciao, ciao. For now.